Hot diggity. Coffee and my wind chimes. I mean, oh, wow. August the 30th. I love my morning trips through my yard and my visits. Right there, buddy. He's not so sure. Get this coffee out of my hand. Beautiful time of year. Cool breeze today. Finally. No rain. It rained last night again. And a lot. Oh gosh. One thing I've had no shortage of this summer is rain. And I'm looking forward to fall, honestly. Especially since I have plenty of figs still getting ripe. You know, I was giving these two figs. One is Figo Preto, and that's this one here. And I think it's a particularly beautiful specimen. I'll tell you a little story that goes with this in a second. It's very fruitful. It's only in its second full year, and hasn't ripened any fruit yet because it's a little behind my Black Madeira, which is more mature. It's 1 year older. And this is a Black Madeira grafted, and it's doing very nicely. I should have up-potted it, but I ran out of materials, or I was getting low on materials, and so I only designated those materials for use in priority projects, meaning my soil mixes and things. So I just neglected up-potting this, but it's in I think a 5 gallon. It's in a 5 gallon, which is plenty. I don't favor going up too large in pots because I like when I continuously constrict the roots, and I get more production that way. And my figs like it because I can move them around, and if I want to get them out in the yellow sun like today, I can do it. If I want to put them back in the greenhouse because we're having a horrible storm or lots of rain or wind, I can do that too. So I have mobility. That's important. To me it is. And so I keep them in small pots. I go up to maybe 10 gallon pots. Like this Smith is in a 10 gallon. And I don't like going beyond that because I don't need to. I mean, I just don't need to do it. And especially when you feed them a rich formula. I call it a formula. Hold on a second here. Let's see. Look at this. Look how beautiful. Now, does that tree look like it needs a bigger pot? I picked 50 or 60 figs off this easily, and it's getting to the end. Let's gobble this one down. Debbie loves Smith, so I'll put that. I'll save that for a little. Here's another one. This morning for breakfast. Look at that. Oh, it's always something to pick in this place. In the yard somewhere. Look at that. Isn't that glisteningly beautiful? You can see how beautiful, how tasty it is. Does it look like it needs a larger pot? No. And I'll probably leave it in a 10 gallon pot next year. Because I feed it a rich formula. I believe in feeding the figs. We've talked about these things before. I've got to take a bite of that. Pardon me. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Debbie will love that. So, I've got a lot of those. I mean, I'm going to go back and talk about the Figo Preto, but I know that everybody, I don't know where to start really. I'm going to be releasing a video very shortly. And I did a video not long ago. So let me talk about it just for a second. There's so much to talk about. But this is Vito's long yellow. Vito is very closely associated and well known throughout the fig community for being closely associated with this particular variety, long yellow. And this was a gift, as I said in my previous tape. This was a gift from Vito to me, so it's accurately, with beyond a doubt, and for sure, the variety that is in question here. Now, I did an evaluation the other day of long yellow. Is it the same as yellow long neck? And or golden rainbow, since those two are the same figs, in my opinion. My opinion, and I'm positive in my opinion, but because I took a couple years to make the final conclusion, and maybe I jumped to conclusion too, with regards to the long yellow not being yellow long neck. But honestly, when I looked at these stems and saw how long they were, and neither my golden rainbow or my yellow long neck have this characteristic. Now, sometimes there's an outlier fig that has a little longer stem, but not this long. And the necks are shorter here, okay, on the long yellow. The necks are shorter than on my yellow long neck. I think it's appropriately named. And the leaves, although there's a couple leaves that are similar, by far, most of the leaves on this variety are just so different. And they're single-lobed and very interesting. And this is a characteristic that I know exists with this variety, because I've been told by other people, also by Vito, I confirmed it. And Vito's, although this is only a first-year tree, and so it's still pretty good for a first-year tree, but Vito's, I asked him, and I was really clear in my request for information with him very recently, if his makes Breva. He's been long associated with this variety, and he said yes, it makes Breva, and it's not uncommon, and he eats them. So yellow longneck is not a variety that makes Breva. It's rare. It's very rare that yellow longneck makes Breva. It can. And they fall off. Some say they fall off for them, depending on the area of the country. Even the area of the country in terms of the moisture content in the air, with regards to the general average of that. Okay, if it's humid, I've noticed that yellow longneck or golden rainbow will turn a little brown. The fig will turn a little brown in a moist situation, in moist conditions. And the yellow longneck is a fig that can produce Breva, but rarely produces Breva. Now, apparently, according to Vito, the long yellow produces quite a few Breva every year. So that's different. So, you know, I have a hunch, and I'm going to make a video very soon. And that wasn't the intention of this video, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But I've been waiting for these to ripen so that I can do a fair comparison of the taste with yellow longneck. And they take forever to get ripe. Here's one that's almost ripe. And that's another characteristic that this long yellow shares with yellow longneck. And so I'm a little suspicious, you know. I think they might, this could be a sport of yellow longneck, or yellow longneck could be a sport of long yellow. They could be related genetically. I think they are. The honey figs, I'm a little suspicious. I'm going to taste these figs. I bet you they taste the same, even though this is a little more tear-shaped and it has the longer stem. It has the shorter neck, like I'm trying to explain. And it has different leaf. It's hard to tell by leaf pattern. You know that, especially in the first year of a tree. But I've read accounts of this by people that know a lot about figs, and they also witnessed a mature tree with the same shaped leaves, a lot of them predominantly, and Vito has confirmed that. So are they closely related? Probably. Could one be a sport of the other? A minor variation or a variation? Yeah, probably. Are they both honey figs? Will they have a similar taste signature? Probably. We're going to confirm that in the next video, but let's move back because I wanted to show you a few things more. This is a little baby. I call them babies, and that's why I use the word formulas, because when they're little babies, they get formulas. Just like a baby, they get formulas. And I consider a first-year tree a formula, a baby that needs a formula. And a second-year tree, I would say, is a juvenile. And this is a juvenile, started last year. And from an air layer late in the season. And when they get 3 years old, I would call them adolescents, late adolescents, okay? For convenience, that's probably what I would call them. And listen, look at the leaf pattern of this Italian 258. And when they get to be 4 years old, I finally grant them the title of adult. Now that's me, that's my formula that I use. And, I actually feed them a little differently depending on their age. Just like you do a puppy dog. You give a puppy dog a slightly different dinner than you do, or dog food, than you do dog food for an adult. And I do that. Now I wanted to clarify something too, because the other day I was showing my Italian 258, and it was coming off my Genovese Nero fig tree. But I've got other videos that you can watch, and I would welcome you to watch them, that, in my opinion, Genovese Nero is indeed an Italian 258, period. And I'm going to make another video about that maybe in the future, but I've already done that. There's a lot of things that I want to help clarify for the fig community, and I'm going to do my best to do that for you out there. I've got a schedule, believe me, it's a very vigorous schedule of topics that I need to talk about, like the Mount Etnas and how they're so often classified or named different names, and they're all the same fig, but there are some slight variations. I mean, that's a whole topic that I want to go into in detail for you, and I'm going to. And in one of my recent responses to one of my comments in one of my videos, and I think the video was the old man and the fig, and there was a question in that in the comments, and I answered it in long fashion and wrote a pretty long article to them explaining my position on the Mount Etna figs, the hardy Chicago types. You might want to read that, but I intend to go into far more detail in the future on this subject. Many subjects. I'm trying to clarify some things, and hopefully, therefore, do a service to the fig community. Make a contribution. That's all I really want to do, is make a contribution. But so, if you notice that was Genovese Nero in the other video, Genovese Nero is Italian 258. And if I identified it as Italian 258, that's because it is Italian 258, in my opinion. Okay? So, this is 258, and it came from 258, but it's the same as Genovese Nero. But isn't it a beautiful specimen? Okay? So, I've deviated away from the main topic, which I want to get back to, because there's just so many things to talk about. I know that you're interested in so many different varieties and things, and I've been cutting back on my varieties for many, many, many years, and I'm still cutting back even more. And there are certain varieties that I do like and that I'm very fond of and that are very, very successful and produce an abundance of figs, like this Battaglia Green, which is an Adriatic, which we've talked about. And I just love this variety. And so I can't just walk away and when I have all these ripe figs, and I know that you're probably wanting to see me maybe open one up, maybe talk a little bit about it. Let's eat this. Oh God, that's good. And then of course I've got some, that's so good. Oh my God, it's good. And my Ron de Bordeaux is the proper way to pronounce that. Ron de Bordeaux has been producing nonstop since about the 10th of July, 12th. Wow. So delicious. I'll tell you, this is such a well, it is a highly valued, but I think it's still undervalued. It's just so delicious. It's just so practical. It's so productive. It just keeps on pumping out the figs. Beautiful, delicious figs. Let me save this one. There. Okay. But I know that you would probably want me to film the Black Madeira. The Black Madeira has been ripening. I've been eating them, and they're very, very, very delicious. Some of them are huge. Look at the size of that. That Black Madeira is just huge. I love Black Madeira. And I've got several videos about Black Madeira. So here's another ripe one. Right there. Let's pop it off. Hot diggity. Oh, it's got honey coming out. Oh gosh. You know, this is one of those tough jobs and responsibilities that I have as a figster. That, oh, somebody's got to do this stuff. I don't know. I guess it's going to have to be me. Again today. Jeez, oh, look at that. Well, let me get on with it. Responsibility, responsibility, responsibility. Let me take a bite out of this. My God. Oh, God. Debbie, you've got a treat coming to you. Let me get back to here, because this was the initial